52-year-old John Chittick looks as though he just returned from Hawaii instead of an international walking tour where he talked to young people about AIDS.
Boy in the blue was my translator.
During his 2-year global walk, John Chittick visited 40 countries and says he educated about 70,000 teens on AIDS prevention.
My mission was to go and try to hit all sectors of young people all over the world, and I know that AIDS is an international pandemic.
Chittick, called Dr. John by teens around the world, wrote his Harvard doctoral thesis on adolescence and AIDS. In 1994, he predicted it would become a youth epidemic. In 1999, UNAIDS reported 50% of all new cases of HIV around the world occurs in youths ages 15 to 24.
This is southern China, and what I basically do is go with a volunteer.
Dr. John went to 5 continents and visited the most conservative countries. In India, he talked to a 20-year-old widow and mother with AIDS. She was shunned by her neighbors because of the stigma associated with the disease.
So please tell your neighbors and friends not to be afraid of this young woman or her children. I hugged Saida, I touched her, I brought food to her, I went into her home, I tried to show her neighbors there was nothing to fear from being friendly with somebody with AIDS.
Dr. John traveled by plane, bus, and boat. When he arrived at a new town or village, he'd just approach young people on the street.
I just go up to the first teenagers I see and I say, "Hi, I'm Dr. John, and can I talk to you for a minute? You can help me." And, every once in a while there are kids that sort of look at me like, you know, who's this guy? But most of them would be very friendly with me.
In Nepal, he found 3 young girls who helped him pass out flyers and talk about AIDS.
My name is Namita.
Namita?
Yeah.
And you're going to help me today?
Yes.
They suffered some shame in the village and among the older people for going with a foreigner, talking about sex, talking about drugs, because that's even a big problem in Nepal.
But in some countries, John was asked to speak to whole groups.
Thank you for giving us more information about AIDS.
Dr. John educated teens in Africa, Brazil, and Mexico. Everywhere there were people who wanted to learn more about AIDS.
People would come up to me and say, "We never heard this information before." The women would say, "Men have never told us." And even women who have many children don't even know about birth control, so they don't even know how to avoid HIV.
John did run into trouble in Cuba, where he was arrested, and Colombia, where he received kidnapping threats. But even in those areas, he managed to spread the word.
I think I was most proud of the young people because they felt they had a real sense of responsibility to help their community.
Dr. John is director of the TeenAIDS-PeerCorps in Boston, where he trains teens to teach each other about HIV and AIDS. He will now write a book about his travels and continue his work.
Parents, adults, and governments that they've got to wake up, that there is a youth AIDS problem now. There wasn't 10 years ago. There wasn't even very much 5 years ago. But right now, young people who are sexually active are migrating and integrating.
Dr. John says he is keeping in touch with his new friends around the world through email and postcards, and the TeenAIDS-PeerCorps has its own website. He hopes his global network will continue to expand, allowing teens to learn more from each other and stay safe. Davita Wright, NECN.
No sé, I don't know. Posible una vida